So welcome to the OLAM's OLAM Mentorship Informational Webinar. My name is Barry Rabin, and I'm OLAM's Program Manager. During this webinar, we're going to talk about the background, the process, and next steps to apply for the OLAM Mentorship Program. A few notes before we begin. If your name doesn't appear in Zoom, please rename yourself. You just click on the three dots on your square so that we know who's here. Also, you can just sit back and enjoy listening to the webinar and participate. All the information is going to be on our website, so there's no need to take notes if you don't want to. So let's see who is joining today. I'm going to switch to the next slide. So in the chat, I'm going to invite you to type in your name, your organization, if applicable, where are you located, and have you ever been a mentor or mentee? So while you're writing, I'm going to tell you about what we're going to be doing in this hour. So in this session, here's how we'll spend our time. We're going to share all the details about the OLAM Mentorship Program and even hear from a few of the mentors who'll be participating. We'll have a brief moment for any questions or suggestions you have with the Q&A segment. And then we want to give you a taste of what it's like to connect with other members of our network around the theme of mentorship with some speed networking. And for those who have additional questions, Yael and I will stay after a bit to answer anything else that you want to ask. So now I'd like to hand it over to our Director of Network Engagement and Programs, Yael Shapira.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Barry. It is great to see everyone today, some familiar faces and some new ones. We are going to talk about mentorship and the program. And yes, keep introducing yourselves, and it's great to see who's here with us today. So just a little overview of what we're talking about when we say mentorship. For some, it may be very obvious, and for others, it's a whole new concept. So mentorship is a relationship-based process where someone with more experience supports growth and development professionally of someone with less experience. So mentorship includes guidance, sharing knowledge, offering perspective, and it's really not about giving the answers or kind of telling someone how to do something. It's about helping someone grow through reflection, insight, and support. It's definitely a two-way relationship rooted in trust and mutual learning. Next slide. So in order to understand mentorship, we also want to understand what mentorship is not. So as I said, mentorship is about relationship building, and it's often a long-term process where you really get to know each other. So that's different from coaching or consulting, which you may be more familiar with. So coaching is based on performance and skills. You bring someone in who is really goal-oriented, focusing on specific issue or problem, and it's typically short-term. You want to get to a solution to that problem through the process of working together. Consulting, on the other hand, is where you bring in someone to give expert advice or solutions on a specific, again, like an issue or some sort of project. It's very task-oriented and it's often transactional. Often you pay someone to be a consultant. So it's really not about relationship building as much as getting the task done. So mentorship, on the other hand, mentoring doesn't require subject matter expertise on the mentee's exact challenges. So the mentor and mentee may be coming from very different approaches and perspectives, but actually bringing in that different perspective is what can help them grow and learn. The mentor's role is to ask good questions and really be a sounding board for the mentee. So a bit about our program, kind of an overview of what we're offering. So we are launching this as a pilot program with 25 pairs of matched mentors and mentees that will last 4 months. The program is open to OLAM's individual members and all staff of OLAM's partner organizations, including field staff. So please, spread the word to those who are in different offices of your organization. During the duration of the program, participants need to be either employed by their partner organization or have active membership. So if you're moving away from your organization, etc., be in touch and we'll make sure that you are actively part of the OLAM network. So we are excited to have 9 excellent mentors who are already confirmed. And we're going to introduce them to you in the next few weeks so that you understand who are some of the people you can work with. So we have Gina Valinsky, Michal Brook, Jacob Stockman, Paul Anticoni, Matthew Bremen, Gerald Kilson, Dvora Joseph, Sol Bentalila, and Dan Galen. And we're going to hear from a couple of them shortly and why they decided to join as mentors. In terms of the phases and the next steps after today, in terms of getting involved with this program, we are going to open up an application. Tomorrow, we'll send out an email with a link to the application form. When you apply, you'll need to choose if you'd like to be a mentor or mentee, but you can't be both. So the application will be open until mid-August. And then when it closes, we're going to be doing the matching. OLAM staff will choose who is accepted to the pilot program, and we will make those pairs between the mentors and mentees. In early September, there will be onboarding. So whoever has been chosen to be mentors, the 25 mentors, will have a video call where you will hear advice and understand kind of the process and the platform that we'll be using, and also really give you some resources to be the best mentors you can be. And we're also going to send an email to the 25 mentees about everything they need to know in order to be the most prepared mentees. And then in September, the pilot begins and the mentoring begins, and it lasts till the end of December. So we expect the pairs to meet about 4 times at a minimum, but they can decide to meet more than that, and we'll talk about that a bit later. So at the end of the 4 months, we're going to analyze how the pilot program went, and then we'll make a decision about whether to continue next year with a new cohort and which adjustments or changes we could make so that the program is even bigger and better. And just to let you know that we're hosting the whole mentorship program on the Together platform. Not sure if anyone's heard of it. It's a software designed especially to support a mentorship pair, and we'll get into how Together will support you. So some of the goals of this program and why you might want to get involved with it. So OLAM Mentorship taps into the incredible talent that exists across our network, so creating opportunities for shared learning, guidance, and connections. We've heard strong interest from both sides. We've heard throughout the past months, if not years, that people want to benefit from other people's experiences and also people who want to pay it forward to others in our network. So this pilot really helps us test a structure for that mutual exchange. So the goals include supporting you in advancing your career. So for a mentee, you'll receive customized career guidance and advice and discuss growing from current challenges. Improve the impact of the work of OLAM's network by sharing of best practices, tools, and resources. Enhance collaboration and support among OLAM's practitioners and create deeper connections that can last far beyond the program. Foster strong relationships among Jews in development, humanitarian aid, and global service sectors, particularly during a time of increased isolation in the workplace. This is an excellent opportunity to really kind of build those bridges and make those extra connections. And provide a way for those who've lost their jobs to keep a foot in their field. And unfortunately, many in our network have lost their jobs to the foreign aid cuts. And this is a really great opportunity, whether as a mentor or mentee, to still be involved and engaged with others.
Okay, so I'll be home by
So
later. Let me know
just
when
make sure you mute yourself, please, whoever's unmuted.
See
So just to kind of convince you why you should join, we're going to share why you should become a mentee and or a mentor. So mentees are junior or mid-level practitioners who's employed or was employed in international development, humanitarian aid, or global service, and is seeking to make a professional shift within these sectors. So if you're at a juncture, you're thinking about a new job, a new sector, trying to get that next job, this is an excellent opportunity to hear from someone who has more experience. It's an opportunity to gain specific hard and soft skills. So hard skills include project management, budgeting, fundraising, AI use, etc., or soft skills such as teamwork, leadership development, interviewing skills, and more. And again, connecting with other Jews who share your values, especially if you live isolated from other Jewish communities and don't have that access. In terms of why to become a mentor, it's for someone who's a senior level practitioner or has expertise in a certain aspect of international development, aid, or global service. And they're seeking to give back to the OLAM network, share experience, impart knowledge, best practices, and resources from everything they have gained throughout their career so far. And again, it's also an opportunity for mentors to connect with other Jews who share the values, especially if you're isolated from others. So we are going to consider diversity when we choose the mentors and mentees. So that includes the sectors you work in, the geography, your location where you're based, gender, etc. So we're hoping to get a wide diversity of applications on both fronts. And now I am pleased to invite two of our confirmed mentors to share a bit about why they're joining the program and what you can gain if you are going to be matched with them. So first I will call on Gerald Kielsen, who is the co-founder and president of the Center for Development History, to share a few words, and then Jacob Stockman, founding director of Gabriel Project Mumbai. Okay, I'll passing it to you, Gerald. Thank you.
Okay. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. So maybe I'll just mention a couple of things. I have had the opportunity in the past to be a mentor. Well, let me actually start this way. So I have 45 years of experience working in international development, both for the US government, for NGOs and consulting firms. A few years ago, I started the Center for Development History, which is an effort to record and capture and preserve the experiences and history of people who spent their careers working in development, needed now more than ever. In a prior position with the Creative Associates, I had the opportunity to be a mentor, I think 4 times, maybe 5 times over the course of my tenure there. And it was always a tremendous experience for me. Yale listed some of the benefits to be a mentor. I would add another, which two. One is the opportunity to talk to people who come either from different backgrounds or different experience levels, and it made me feel younger, frankly. The second thing, though, is that I learned as much, if not more, than I was able to impart to the mentors. As a as a teacher, you learn from your students. As a mentor, you learn from your mentee, and that was wonderful. The slide said something about relationships. So even today, and this is more than a decade since I was last a mentor, I have very close relationships with all of the people who I was in that mentor-mentee relationship with. So it forms um, long-lasting relationships and bonds. So the other question was, what do I know and what could I do? That's a great question. Um, my career has been focused either in education, basic education, or business development. I've been a senior leader of some of the larger NGOs and consulting firms working in the space, so I understand how to think about working with complicated teams, business development, working across borders and with different cultures. And generally, I'm a good listener, which I think is another really important skill to be a mentor. So I'll stop there and hand it over.
Thanks so much, Gerald. Jacob, how about you?
Hi everyone, I'm Jacob Stockman. I'm the founding director of Gabriel Project Mumbai, a development organization that's working with communities in India. I'm really excited to be on the mentor program because I truly believe in the power of community and shared purpose. Being under the OLAM umbrella means that we're part of a fellowship, and a fellowship of people who and organizations who are committed to creating meaningful change in the world. And that's incredibly powerful. For me, mentoring is not just about offering advice, it's about walking alongside passionate change makers and sharing what I've learned over 13 years of working in the field. That includes my mistakes, and there've been a lot. My challenges, which has been a lot, and some of the creative solutions that I have come up with, or others have showed me. And that means that people don't have to reinvent the wheel. And what excites me most about the opportunity is, like what Gerald said, is learning from the mentee. Every conversation that we're going to have, every challenge that they bring up will help me grow too. This mutual exchange is what makes this program so special, and I'm really grateful to be part of it.
Great, thank you so much. And whoever gets paired up with both of you is very fortunate. So as I mentioned, we've already secured 9 really amazing and excellent mentors, which means that we have 16 spots available for additional mentors for anyone who's considering applying for that role. Next slide, please. So in terms of the matching criteria, OLAM staff, as I said, will be doing the matching based on the information in the application forms that you're going to submit. Once we're ready to match pairs, we're going to use the following criteria and see if there's overlap in the mentee area of need and the mentor's experience. So we're going to be looking at technical sectors of interest and experience, whether it's WASH, livelihood, education, health, etc. Hard skills, soft skills that there's interest in getting and experience in, and then just interests and issues. What are some things that you are hoping to talk about in general? So whether it's being someone new to the sector and just understanding the international development, humanitarian aid ecosystem, just talking about what it's like these days to being the only Jew at your organization and getting some support around that. At OLAM, we always love talking about ethical practices in these sectors. So really anything that you're able to give in your application form about what you want to gain from this experience will help us find you the best match. And then there's a geographic location preference, which could either be you want to meet with someone who's specifically in your area so that you could potentially meet in person as well, or you want someone in a different area so you can get some diversity and new perspective. And we'll also take it into account time differences and time zones. So where people live is also a factor. Just to let you know that we're going to take a very intentional approach to matching the mentors and mentees. And we believe that you'll be successful together if we matched you. We ask that every pair that we match meets at least once, but there can be the possibility of there just not being the right chemistry. And if that happens, that's okay. That's not a problem. You can be in touch with OLAM staff and we will work with you to find someone who is the right fit. We want to make sure that this program works for you. And with that, I'm passing it back to Barry to share more information about participating in the program.
Thanks, Jaya. So what does participation involve? First of all, you're adhering to the OLAM mentorship agreement, and this lays out how you'll work together. And you complete it and you agree to it as a mentorship pair, mentor and mentee. It includes things like confidentiality, professionalism, boundaries, how you'll communicate and schedule your sessions, and accountability. You also commit, as mentioned, to participating in 4 mentorship meetings between September and December, 1 a month. And of course, a mentorship pair can opt to meet more frequently if you decide to, but you're meeting at least those 4 times. You also commit to providing feedback on the process and the experience. As a pilot, this is particularly important to us. We'll be collecting monitoring data as well as your own qualitative feedback, and based on this, we'll make a decision on whether we continue with a new cohort the next year. So what do those meetings look like? So in meeting 1, you're building rapport, you're clarifying the mentee's goals, and you're reviewing the mentorship agreement. And after the first meeting, which lays the groundwork, meetings 2 through 4 are really where the work of mentorship happens. We expect these conversations to be flexible and guided by what the mentee most wants to learn or work on. And we suggest that mentees take initiative in naming what they'd like to focus on in each meeting, and mentors bring curiosity, perspective, and practical insight to those meetings. We also encourage each meeting to end with setting a small goal or reflection or a question to bring into the next meeting, and that provides a sense of continuity and progress. So the OLAM mentorship program, as mentioned, will be hosted on that platform that specializes in mentorship called Together. And some of the key features of this platform are the application. You would apply to be a mentor or mentee by creating a profile in the platform. That's what's going out tomorrow. The platform also integrates with programs like Zoom and Google, among other tools. And here's how it would work. So the mentorship pair schedules a video chat via Together by choosing how you want to meet first, say like Zoom. You generate a call link in the Together meeting scheduler. And then when it's time to meet, you'll click on that link from either your calendar or the Together dashboard. And then it opens up in your chosen video platform. So you schedule via the platform, and then you meet via the program that you choose, like Zoom. And this allows us to have that kind of monitoring data and know who's meeting and when and how often and things like that. We are going to have a Q&A segment, Susan, if you want to just hold your question for a moment. No, okay. Okay. The Together platform will also have some suggested meeting agendas, some templates for those meetings that we talked about, in-platform reminders and messages about your planned sessions, customized resources. There are different videos and articles on best practices for being a mentor or mentee. And it has a post-session feedback form. So each time you meet, you give a little bit of feedback on how the session went, on both on the part of the mentor as well as the mentee. And we're going to have an end-term survey so that we know how the program went for you. So that's what the Together platform has. So let's explore a few what-ifs as you're thinking about participating in the mentorship program. So what if I'm between jobs? Can I still mentor? It's okay if you're transitioning in your career. If you bring the experience, you can still be an excellent mentor. So this is a great opportunity for the time that you're in between jobs to stay engaged in the work and in our sector. What if I've never mentored before? We'll have an onboarding video call in which we'll talk about mentoring best practice. We'll share some key resources on best practices for mentoring, and know that if we choose you, we really do believe in you. So of course you can be a mentor. What if I'm a seasoned professional? Can I still be a mentee? Even if you're a senior level professional, you might be, let's say, transitioning between sectors in your career. And maybe you could really benefit from having a mentor to support that transition. So you absolutely can be a mentee, even if you're a seasoned professional. And what if a match isn't working out? This is something that Yael already kind of mentioned. We want to normalize that fact. That's okay if that happens. But we do think you're going to be a great match because we are being really intentional in tailor creating those matches, and really considering the criteria that Yael shared earlier. However, in the unusual circumstance that after the first meeting or two, you don't feel like it's the right match, you can have one rematch maximum. But we do want to encourage you to give the match a real chance. If you find that it just isn't working out, you can let us know in the feedback form or by reaching out to us directly, and we can discuss it. What if I'm not accepted in this go-round? Well, this is a pilot, which means we have room for just 25 pairs. So if you aren't accepted into this round, and at the end we assess that the program has been a success and there is a need for it, and we decide to continue with the program in 2026, you would have an additional opportunity to apply next year. So that's always a possibility. And lastly, can I be both a mentor and a mentee? Well, we're going to ask that you decide which role that you'd prefer, as you can only apply to either one or the other. So lastly, on our website, we're going to have a frequently asked questions section where you can find even more information. And if you have other questions, again, we'll have a Q&A segment coming up in just a little bit. So what kind of support are you offered through this OLAM mentorship program? OLAM will support you in the following ways. At the end of August, we've mentioned these and it bears repeating that we'll have an onboarding call for mentors where we'll discuss best practices and lay out expectations of mentors, a bit about the process and the together functions. So we'll have that onboarding call for mentors. Mentees will be onboarded with an email, and in that email, you'll also get access to that OLAM mentorship agreement and have some reminders about expectations and sharing resources for best practices in being a mentee. We'll also share various resources on best practices for mentoring being a mentee, as mentioned. And for support during the process, you can also always reach out to OLAM staff. So we're happy, we're here to provide support. The mentorship relationship, even though we are here to provide support, it's really one that you build. We'll be there in the background if you need us, but we expect that the mentor-mentee pair builds the relationship on your own. So keep that in mind as well. This is really something that you're able to do and that's within your control. So what are next steps? Tomorrow, you'll get an email with a link to apply for via the Together platform. So please do apply by August 17th. And we're inviting partners to help us spread the word, letting your colleagues know about the program. The email with the link will also include a recording of this session, so you can share the session recording with your colleagues if you like. By the end of August, we'll let you know if you've been chosen for the pilot, and we'll introduce you to your match. And at that point, you are ready to then schedule your first meeting as a mentor-mentee pair. On September 3rd, at 10 a.m. Eastern time in the US or 5 p.m. Israel time, we're going to have an onboarding call for the mentors. So if you know that you're interested in becoming a mentor, please already block this off on your calendar. Again, that's September 3rd at 10 a.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Israel time. So we've got some time now. I think we're pretty good on timing. We have about 15 minutes that we can spend on some Q&A if there are any questions or even suggestions that you have. You can feel free to open your mic. You can put the question in the chat. Just to say, Yael, as I'm sharing the slides, I'm not able to see the chat, so I might depend on you to help with that.
You could stop the share for now during the questions.
Okay, stop the share. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask or suggestions that they want to make? We'll give it a minute or so. Maybe we've answered all the questions you might have had. So Eldad, you're asking, I run a young nonprofit. Can I get a mentor? Absolutely. Even if you're a senior professional, there's always something to learn, and you're more than welcome to participate in the program. You can certainly apply to be a mentee. Tikva Uganda is asking if there will be other founders. I know there are other founders in the network. I think it depends on who applies to become a mentor or a mentee. I don't know if there's anything else you want to add to that, Yao.
No, it really does depend. I mean, in the application form, you're welcome to write down, I am specifically looking for this type of person, or any information that will help us with the matches. But again, it depends on the pool of applicants. We do have a lot of founders in our network, so it's likely that there will be one. And while I'm at it, if you could just rename yourself so that we know who you are from Tikva, Uganda. Thank you.
What else would you like to know? Any other questions or suggestions?
Deborah raised her hand. Do you
Hi,
want to...
thanks. Oh, it's okay just to ask instead of typing, it's just faster. I'm sorry if you covered this. I have kind of two areas of strong interest for mentorship, and I wondered if in the application process you might be able to include more than one in the hopes that you match well with one or the other. Assuming, I mean, I understand I wouldn't get both, potentially get a combination, but would it be possible to include kind of two interests?
The form allows you to add additional topics. So you should be able to add the topics that you specialize in. Is this what you're saying as a mentor, things that you want to mentor in, Deborah?
Yes, things that I would like to be mentored in. Thank you
Oh,
very
mentored
much,
in.
by the way,
Yes.
for doing all of this. I really appreciate it. Forgot to say that.
Thank you, Deborah. Yes, you can add topics that are of interest to you in the form.
So just that you know, it's not just one topic or one space. We actually have different categories, such as sectors that you'd be able to either mentor it or be mentored in. So you can, pick as many as you want. Hard skills, soft skills, you're going to have a number of options and you could choose multiple. So it's really, we definitely expect people to want to talk about more than one thing and even 10 things. Hopefully, once you're paired, you can narrow it down to what makes most sense or what's most urgent. But we're here to really open it up to any types of things you want to talk about.